the backbone to attack conservatives for defending their assassinated friend. But there's a key difference here. Democrats want to silence conservatives for speaking obvious, self-evident ontological truths like that men aren't women and men can't get pregnant. That seems pretty basic. That seems like a basic truth that we should all be able to agree on. Republicans, by contrast, are recognizing that a constitutional republic depends on the free and open exchange of ideas that we can debate without violence, and that assassinating a political rival is evil, it's wrong, and it should not be glorified or promoted or justified in any way, including in the way that Congresswoman Ilhan Omar did.
There's a saying in politics, words have consequences, and Congressman Brandon Gill just proved it. When Ilhan Omar shared a video comparing Charlie Kirk to Frankenstein after his murder, Gill didn't whisper about it. He said it straight to the FBI director's face. You're not going to want to miss this. Like the video, subscribe to 50 Patriots, grab a seat, get comfortable, and let's dive right back into it.
One more member, a few UC requests, and then you can, we'll let you go, but we appreciate that. The gentleman from Texas is recognized.
Thank you again for taking the time, Director Patel, and for Chairman Jordan for holding this hearing. Thank you for depoliticizing the FBI and getting it back to its original mission as well. Director Patel, do you agree that we have a problem in the United States with politically motivated violence?
Absolutely.
And I very much agree. I think we can all agree that political violence is wrong, it's evil, regardless of which side it comes from, and that we can all adamantly and vehemently reject it, or we certainly should. But one of the things that we've noticed recently is that affinity and tolerance for political violence is not equally distributed on both sides of the aisle. In fact, right now, social media is filled with leftists who are cheering on the murder of an iconic conservative political figure, Charlie Kirk. And it's not just random people on Twitter doing this now. There's a YouGov poll released just a few days ago, which stated that 25% of those who identify as very liberal believe that political violence can sometimes be justified. That's far too many, is it not? It is.
One is far too many.
One is far too many. That's right. Only 3% of very conservatives said the same thing, and we can agree that 3% is far too many. But there's an astounding difference between 25% on the left accepting and tolerating political violence and 3% on the right. I would hope that our colleagues on the other side of the aisle would also recognize that there is a systemic problem on their side of the aisle with tolerance for violence against people with whom they politically disagree, that there is a cultural rot on their side of the aisle that needs to be addressed desperately. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
One of the more astounding aspects of this is that it's not just people. This comes from the very top, from their political leaders. Just a few days ago, a member of Congress of this body, Ilhan Omar, shared a video on her social media account about Charlie Kirk's murder, and I'll quote what it said. It said, "Charlie Kirk was Dr. Frankenstein, and his monster shot him through the neck." In other words, Charlie had it coming to him. The words that he said naturally led to his assassination. I mean, that is a reprehensible thing for a member of Congress to say, to suggest, to promote in any capacity. And there are people across this country who are losing their jobs for far less than this. And that, by the way, is a just response to acceptance and tolerance of political violence. It's amazing to me that the political left today, who were the originators and the cheerleaders of cancel culture, now have the backbone to attack conservatives for defending their assassinated friend. But there's a key difference here. Democrats want to silence conservatives for speaking obvious, self-evident ontological truths like that men aren't women and men can't get pregnant. That seems pretty basic. That seems like a basic truth that we should all be able to agree on. Republicans, by contrast, are recognizing that a constitutional republic depends on the free and open exchange of ideas that we can debate without violence, and that assassinating a political rival is evil, it's wrong, and it should not be glorified or promoted or justified in any way, including in the way that Congresswoman Ilhan Omar did. So Mr. Patel, thank you again for being here. I'd like to, with the remainder of my time, just get your opinion. Does the FBI recognize the rising threat of political violence in America, and what can you guys do to address it?
Yes, we do. And what we can do to address it, Congressman, is we need to get online partnerships with these companies in the public space, on these gaming sites and on these social media sites. As I was saying earlier, there is no way to triage the amount of information generated on these sites by the FBI alone. And we need the public-private partnership. And there's another law that's expiring, I think, at the end of this month, which I believe we need renewed, that allows private sector companies to report into the FBI without liability for criminal investigatory purposes. And that's the kind of stuff we need to keep going.
Got it. Thank you, Director Patel. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Gentleman yields back.
Mr. Chairman,
Gentleman from Arizona.
I have some UCs.
Gentleman to state his request.
Congressman Brandon Gill took the floor and wasted no time making something crystal clear. Political violence is evil, period. No qualifiers, no excuses. And FBI Director Patel agreed right out of the gate. One act of political violence is already too many. But Gill didn't stop there. He laid out the uncomfortable truth the left refuses to face. According to recent polling, nearly a quarter of those identifying as very liberal believe political violence can sometimes be justified. Compare that to just 3% on the conservative side. Gill made the point plainly. 3% is already unacceptable, but 25% represents something far worse. A cultural rot. Then came the moment that froze the room. Gill brought up Ilhan Omar, a sitting member of Congress, sharing a video after Charlie Kirk's assassination that portrayed Kirk as Dr. Frankenstein and suggests his own words led to his death. Gill called it exactly what it was: reprehensible, disgusting, and completely unfit for someone sworn to uphold the Constitution. Gill reminded everyone that Americans across the country have lost their jobs for saying far less, yet somehow a member of Congress gets a free pass for appearing to justify an assassination. And the hypocrisy didn't stop there. He pointed out how the same political left that built cancel culture now attacks conservatives for defending their murdered friend. Gill drew a sharp contrast. Democrats silence speech. Republicans defend debate. Democrats excuse violence. Republicans condemn it. A constitutional republic, Gill said, depends on a free exchange of ideas, not bullets, not mobs, and not moral excuses after the fact. Finally, Gill pressed the FBI director directly. Does the Bureau recognize that political violence is rising? Patel answered yes, and he admitted the FBI cannot fight it alone. Online platforms, gaming spaces, and social media have become breeding grounds for radicalization, and without real cooperation, the threat only grows. This exchange mattered, because for once, the truth was said out loud in Congress. Political violence is being tolerated, justified, and even encouraged from the top levels of the left. And Americans are done pretending they don't see it. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Like the video. Subscribe to 50 Patriots. Share this with friends who follow political hearings. And see you in the next one.